All right, welcome back. Now, let's still continue this discussion on the decision of that lawmaker from Ondo State. We're talking about Senator Yele Omogunwa to defect from the PDP to the ruling or majority APC in the Senate. And I'm now being joined on the program by Mr. Adeola Samuel Ilori, who is a lawyer. Mr. Samuel Ilori, thank you very much for coming on the program. You look at the argument that ensued in the Senate between the minority leader, Godswill Akpabio, leading the PDP, and then you have the argument of Dino Melai insisting that there is actually a division in the PDP, and that whether we like it or not, there are two factional chairmen of the chairman now of the party. We must behave in a way. You listen to Godswill Akpabio saying, look, there's no faction at all in the PDP, and that what Senator Yele Omogunwa did was wrong, and that his seat should have been declared vacant. What exactly is your own take on this? I mean, going by the law of this country, we of course know that at some point in 2014, the Supreme Court actually even made a pronouncement on this.
Yeah, thank God that you said based on the law, because when you ask for my view, I don't have any view concerning political shenanigans. But personally, when it comes to the issue that affect the law, I always want to clear the air. Now, the fact remains that the Supreme Court said when you want to defect to another party, which is not even Supreme Court pronouncement, it's the law.
The law from
it's only that our politicians are so brazen to discard away with the law as long as it favors them. But when it doesn't favor them, then you see them making a hell of noise. But thank God for the pronouncement and the affirmations of the Supreme Court regarding the situation. I think that is what they have been hammering on all this. Well, as if the thing is not in law. It is written in black and white.
Ab initio.
Ab initio. So why they are now depending on the Supreme Court classicals, I don't know why. But be that as it may, the area where Akpabio was wrong is quite simple. He was relying on the pronouncement of the Supreme Court again on the latest elections of Ondo State, vis-a-vis the appeal that was, filed against the rulings of Justice Abba. What the Supreme Court did, the Supreme Court never make any pronouncement concerning the issue.
Especially concerning the chairmanship of the
chairmanship. He said, go back to the appeal court. And I don't think appeal court has ever made any pronouncement against them. It's still, the case is still ongoing. So I don't know where Akpabio got his own fashion of Supreme Court.
Basically, because the issue that the appeal court actually pronounced on was on the governorship of Ondo State, not the chairmanship. That's a different case altogether.
The Supreme Court said, go back to appeal court. He asked all the ground of appeal, he told them, go back to appeal court. The only area where Supreme Court dealt with was that of Jegede, PDP gubernatorial candidate of Ondo State in the last election. That's where he made a pronouncement that the ruling of Justice Abba concerning such candidacy of Ondo State PDP election is a fraud. That was the only thing. The rest, where the Supreme Court adjudicated on the second day, he asked all of them go back to the Supreme Court. Go back to the appeal.
So in other words, in your own opinion now, there is
the faction is still there. Has Sheriff given up?
Not at all. And
as he stopped calling himself,
both sides are threatening the others.
Let me give you an example again. There is going to be an election on December 3rd at Ifakoija Federal Constituency. Do you know there are two factions as well? One for Babatokpe, I don't know. The other one for...
Two factions of PDP?
Yes. The other one for Fatima Mohammed. And at the end of the day, I don't know which faction that Babatokpe belongs to. It was that Babatokpe that the INEC recognized. And INEC has given recognitions to the guy before the Supreme Court pronouncement on the fact that they should go back to the appeal court. Vis-a-vis means that the INEC is still recognizing the judgment of 2014 or 2015 in which Abang said it still subsists. I mean the one they got in Lagos. So I don't believe they are right. I don't believe that, what do you call him? Senator Akpabio was right. It might just be his own figment of imagination.
And what then happens? I mean, does the law now take, should I say, a retrospective effect now? If eventually the court now recognizes and makes a pronouncement and says, this is the authentic leadership of the party. So what happens? What could possibly happen to that lawmaker now, Yele Omogunwa, who has defected to the APC?
Whatever you have done when the situation was as it is, there's nothing the law can do about it. You cannot go back and say, okay, because as at the time, the premise on which he defected, well, there was division among them. The only person that law or that pronouncement of the judge would affect are those who now defected after the judgment and say, okay, this is the party that I recognize, and such a person should stop parading himself as another chairman. So that is the only time that law will take effect. There is no retroactive effect of the law, except if the law says ab initio. That's the only thing. But if not, it means that whatever must have done before the pronouncement of the judge is still succeeds and is valid. Because the premise at which or on which he defected is that there are divisions. I mean, there is division between the two factions, and when there is factions, the law allows that.
What I don't know what you would say to this. We've had some arguments to say, look, yes, it's true. There might be crisis in the PDP. There might be divisions in the PDP, but that, you know, for this lawmaker who is defecting, so long as, you know, this crisis does not affect the performance of his work, it does not affect him as an individual, does not in any way take anything away from him, he should not be defecting. That way, he doesn't have the right to defect.
He had the right because the law did not presume the fact that either he's idle or he's not working or he's no longer being seen by his people, which is primarily his job. Either he's no longer, you know, voting even in the House, as it were, or in the Senate building. The fact remains that as long as there is that division, that is what the law stipulates. The question I asked the other time is that Akpabio has failed to have the guy that defected. From which PDP are you defecting from?
Oh, you mean that's what?
That is what you will have asked now. Because if you say there is no division, and yet...
Because obviously Akpabio's group would belong to
the McCarthy faction. As at the time they work out of the Senate, you will discover that it's not all of them that work out of the Senate. That means Sheriff also still has his own followers within that Senate building, which does not follow them to work out of the Senate. So it means that the question he would have asked is, which of the PDP are you defecting from? Because in his own imagination, he believed that there was factional before, but to him, and without him taking the time to read what the law says or what the Supreme Court pronounced, he said the Supreme Court has pronounced based on the judgment of Jegede. Jegede's case is a complete different matter, because ab initio, the case of Jegede need not to have even featured by virtues of the pronouncement of Justice Abang. That's why the Supreme Court called this fraudulent judgment, because it doesn't have anything, because it is right law that will say you cannot build something on nothing. And it is also right law that judges or court is not a Father Christmas. So what you did not ask from the originating forum, nobody need to adjudicate on it. So it doesn't come up at all. So that's why the Supreme Court pronounced it as a fraudulent judgment. So if that is what Akpabio is that's figment of his own imagination, because when their own real appeal come up before the Supreme Court said, go back to the appeal court, go and continue your matter. And I have not had any pronouncement of the appeal over their matter up to today.
How do you think all of this is going to end? Of course, the PDP lawmakers came back the next day and sat at plenary, but you know, you think it's just going to end there?
That is their stock in trade now. Make noise, shout. At the end of the day, they will sit down, and you know, that's why I always look at those people that say, I am for this person, I am for that person. Politicians that they are shouting on themselves, as long as there is money to be shared, they won't remember whether they are from the north, the east, or west. How many of them that collected the arms deal mentioned that I'm from the west, I'm the north, I'm the south? They all sat down and collect the money and share it among themselves. It's only we that we claim to be the citizens that always wanted to say, I am for Akpabio, I am for Omogunwa, and therefore I will swear for you, I will bite you. At the end of the day, the people you are biting over, they are eating together, they are clapping. At the end of the day, you will see Omogunwa shaking hands with Akpabio, because that is the only thing they can do. They work out, they just want to show to Nigerians that something is happening in the Senate, not that they meant it. Because from the beginning, they knew very well that they don't have any actions to take against the man. The law has no, the pronouncement of the Supreme Court does not affect the issue between McCarthy and Sheriff. The Supreme Court said go back to their people and finish up with that. That was the position of the law. And however they settle it or they hang themselves, I'm less concerned. But that does not put food on my table.
Mr. Adeola Samuel Ailori, thank you very much for coming on the program, and thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you, David.
All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking the Empire Project. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decision.